Hey, welcome back. Happy New Year. I know it's been a little while, but be that as it may, it's a new year, a new day. To start off 2024, I'm going to take a look at a lens I picked up in August of last year before going on a trip to the Bay Area. This is the Voigtlander 27mm f2 Ultron lens for the Fuji X system. So traditionally 50mm is known as sort of a standard focal length. This is the type of lens that would come with a camera throughout most of the film, 35mm film era. I've tried 50mm lenses or 50mm equivalent lenses for a lot of different systems, and it always seemed like a little too tight for me, and 35mm was a little bit too wide for this type of lens. And I always heard great things about using a 40mm equivalent lens, that it was like just a little bit more of an open 50mm lens. A great normal focal length, something that was really versatile, and I'd never given it a shot. So this was my opportunity. I wanted a manual focus lens, and I was trying to decide between this and the Fuji 27mm f2.8, and I just loved the look of this lens. I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to try manually focusing on the Fuji system. So I've had about 5 months to use this lens, and I've taken hundreds of shots with it, and it's been a really exciting experience. I want to share some of those with you, some of my thoughts about the lens, and if I recommend it or not. So let's dive in. The first thing that stands out about this lens is its build quality. It's solid, metal, dense, it feels great in the hand, and even though it's a small pancake style lens, it feels substantial. Now, the problem traditionally with pancake lenses is they're a little bit more difficult to manually focus because there's not a lot of focus ring to grab onto. So this uses a focus tab for focusing. The focus ring is very well damped and has a pretty decent throw from near focus to far focus. The aperture ring is clicked, which as a photographer more than a videographer, I love. There is a good amount of resistance to change from one aperture to the next. The lens opens up as wide as f2, as it is an f2 lens, and it closes down to f22. One of the great things about this lens is it has a distance scale. When you move to a particular aperture, you can see at that aperture, starting at about f4, where the nearest focus and the farthest reasonable focus is going to be. Now, while I would imagine this would pair really well with the Fuji rangefinder bodies like the XE2, XE3, the X Pro series, I've only really tried it on the XT2 and XT3, and on those bodies, it works really well. It balances really well. Image quality on the lens is fantastic, even when wide open. Straight from f2, images are contrasty, colors are vibrant, the sharpness is really good in the center of the frame, and if you use the tiny little lens hood that comes with the lens, it does a really good job of keeping away stray light and keeping flaring under control. The color rendition is wonderful. The colors are vibrant. I typically shoot classic chrome in my Fuji XT3, and it really does just as well as any of my native Fuji lenses in representing the colors that film simulation creates. One of the aspects of the lens that is less than ideal is the bokeh. Even when backgrounds are completely out of focus, it is an f2 lens on an APS-C sensor. You can achieve pleasing background blur if the backgrounds are relatively simple, but once you have more complicated backgrounds, the bokeh tends to be a little busier than I would like. Okay, so long story short, I really love this lens. It's been a lot of fun to shoot with. Although I've had some challenges in manually focusing, it's nothing to do with the lens itself, it's more to do with my technique. The image quality is amazing, the colors are vibrant, it's an extremely sharp lens, it's fun to use, it's fun to focus. It's small and light, and I don't have to think about it, and I can throw it on the camera. It's an extremely useful focal length at 40mm, one that I've never used before, and I've always been a 28mm guy. I could definitely see going on a trip with just a 28mm and a 40mm equivalent on the APS-C system, and that's all I need. This lens comes highly recommended. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.